It is overtime here at Old Favorite Friday, and we are continuing the conversation about the Reissdorf Kolsch. Now, Ralph, I brought you in very often to do these Old Favorite Friday videos, but you had not had this beer before.
No.
I have a lot of experience with this beer. I have had this many, many times over the years. This is a Kolsch, a true Kolsch. This is from in and around Cologne, Germany. Every real Kolsch, that's where it has to come from. It is a designation of style, similar to champagne, right? It has to be a certain style and brewed in that certain area. Now, there are a lot of American versions of Kolsch or Kolsch style beers that are out there, and some of them are very, very good. I would say that out of all there's actually quite a few. I mean, only, geez, my brain is broken. There are only a few Kolsches, true Kolsches that I can find in South Florida, okay? And out of all of those, this tends to be my favorite one. It's absolutely delicious, it's well balanced, it's got a hop bite that I like. So that's why I wanted to feature this at Old Favorite Friday. That's why I wanted to talk about this beer. I love the beer style. Now, Ralph, please get me to stop talking so that I can think a little bit about the next thing I'm gonna say.
Yeah. So, I mean, as someone who's never had it, I'm a big fan of the beer. I've had a few Kolsch's, but like you said, usually it's some, especially in the US, some kind of variant of. And so I like this because, to at least my understanding of when I've had some, have some of the European beers, or you go to your local bottle shop and find some German beers. This is more what I was raised to think a traditional Kolsch should taste like. So it's got all those lager type characteristics, even though it's not a true lager as we think of it. But yeah, it's got like the subtle bit of fruit, but it's also super dry and clean. And one thing, because you were talking about the designation, I like, if you look at the side of the can, you probably can't see it, but you can actually see the designation right on the side. So they are very true to style, obviously. And I really like the beer.
So one of the important things about a Kolsch is it's an ale, right, but brewed at lager temperatures. So this has a lot of similar flavor profile to other German-style lagers, but a lot of people will say that it has a more of an estery flavor profile. Ale yeast tends to give off a little more of those esters depending on the yeast. So you get a little more fruitiness, a little more esteriness in this beer while still being dry as a bone, clean, crisp. It's got a beautiful, beautiful color to it. And really, really complex. I also mentioned the hop profile on this. I always have to ask you about the hop profile because that's your thing. I'm guessing that this is a traditional German hop profile, but I am getting a little bit of citrusy flavor. I don't know if that's from the particular hops they're doing, just something I'm picking up. What are you thinking about the hop profile for this?
So I really like it. I would imagine, especially with a beer like this that's been around for a while, I imagine they're using a very noble hop bill, but depending on seasonality and terroir, that can also pick up, even though people don't realize it, can pick up what would be considered more like new school or more citrus kind of floral flavors. But yeah, I really like it because it's not going too far in one direction. So like you have certain, and I love German beers, but you have certain German beers that very much taste old school, where like almost you can like put them in a place, so to speak, where this, like you said, does have more of a classic feel, where it's like never going to go out of style. Where certain beers I love, but I'm like, this very much tastes like an older type of beer that would have been popular 15 years ago, where this one has enough balance and just the refreshing nature of the way those hops interplay is that I could see this, someone thinking this was just made recently, like it's a new beer, or thinking it's been around.
I think the idea of timeless is really, really important there, because this is a timeless style of beer. We've seen more and more people get into lagers and crispier, lighter style ales and lagers over the years, and this does fit in really, really well with them. And it's been, this beer was first produced, I believe, in this, this says 1500s. I don't know if that was like the foundation of the brewery, or maybe something else related to this brewery, but I see other information going back to the 1800s. This beer's been around for a long time. Let's just say the Old Favorite Friday moniker works really, really well with this beer, and it is absolutely incredible. It's drinkable, it's refreshing, it gives you everything you're looking for in a Kolsch, and it does it really, really well. If you are a brewer and you want to make a Kolsch style beer in the United States, you could do worse than to buy yourself a case of this and have all your brewers drink it, try the beer, and see how this is kind of supposed to taste. And when you have a benchmark beer like that, it's going to be good.
And the one thing I actually like about this, and just being in the industry, because you made me think of it, but like everything now is we're starting as brewers to be very lager focused, this and that. And sometimes when you hear that conversation, to me anyways, it can get a little self-indulgent where like we did a concoction, we did this, we use this ancient thing. And I imagine a beer on this production scale, not that they would cut any corners, but they brew it in a production way and they do it very well. And so this would be something, like you said, to kind of look at, because while you're sitting there, sometimes as brewers we can kind of overcomplicate things. And so this is a style that I would love to see the brewery, because I guarantee it's like some of the great breweries over here, like Sierra Nevada, where everything's done purposefully, but nothing's just done for show. And I mean, it is world class for a Kolsch. So like you can make something world class with it, you know, simple can, simple everything, and you don't have to be over the top with how you go about it.
Overthinking things in food recipes happens too much. Overthinking things in beers happens way too much. You get great malt, great hops, excellent brewers, great technique, and you make an incredible world-class beer that delivers every single time. So if you have availability of this, I had to get this at Total Wine and More, which is, you know, a craft-centric place. I don't think I can find this at a local grocery store. But if you have availability to have this beer and you haven't had it in a while, or have never had it before, you've got to try it. It is a foundational style of beer, and one of the foundational breweries doing that style of beer that's available here in the United States. So please go pick this up. Please tell us what beer we should be drinking next week for Old Favorite Friday. Poke around on the channel, like and subscribe, see some other conversations with myself and Ralph and other guests talking about incredible classic beers, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.